X over or X
It
Zone?
was X. I thought it was Cross Zone.
I don't play those games, so all I know is that Bruce Willis is in it, and that's awesome.
That's
That's literally all I
well,
know.
it's Bruce Willis from it's the like the Die Hard game, right?
Right, but I mean that's basically Bruce Willis in real life.
Okay, so yeah, I when I was in Tokyo for Tokyo Game Show, the game was just about to come out, so there were ads for it like everywhere, and it always intrigued me from that perspective, because as a kid, you do that. Oh, what if this character met this character and did this thing and that, and so they make it seems like they make more of these games, like they're able to work out making more of these games in Japan, and so the licensing stuff gets weird when you get international, and it's really, really nice to see that they sort of had the forethought to plan in advance for a Western release for this kind of game, because I think it could be really appealing to everybody.
I think it's kind of interesting how this one actually is planned for a Western release in comparison to something like Tatsunoko vs. Capcom, which took like the whole wrath of the internet to beg and plead Capcom to get them to release it in America.
So it is like a strategy, like a turn-based strategy, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember hearing that the first one wasn't that great, which kind of soured me on it, but it is, yeah, you're right. It's cool to see that come over. Yeah, I mean, it seems rare that we, exactly like you were saying, Conrad, it's always the Japanese companies that band together and have all these crazy crossovers. We don't really get that so much, but
It's like they're starting to acknowledge the value of that Western audience in a way. To ignore that potential audience seems like a waste.
well, and the fact that they don't have to ship. I mean, they can do digital only releases. It is interesting though how you bring up that it used to be it was really distinct what country a game came from. And I mean, there are obviously still Japanese developers and Western developer styles, but you don't really think about it in those terms anymore. I mean, we're all playing different games these days. But it sounds like none of us will be getting this game in particular.
Eh, I mean, it's not it's not my cup of tea. Although this one does seem to be a little more action oriented. Like there's some timing aspects and things like that, and I like that. I like the Tales series and the way it approached sort of RPG combat with action.
I always loved even Paper Mario. It's so subtle, but I mean the whole like you hit the button when they land the attack. That
Yeah,
it's just a psychological thing that keeps you in the game.
absolutely. Well, and just giving you something to do makes you more invested in general. I mean, you feel like you're accomplishing something when you perform an action, as opposed to just passively sitting there and watching the action carry out.
I'm actually thinking about picking it up. I'm not totally sold yet, but I'm primarily a fan of Japanese games, and I like SRPGs a lot, so it looks pretty fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I'm hopeful.
I don't have that sense of excitement for it, though. It just kind of appeared, and I've yet to like have that, real drive to pick it up.
I feel like I'm not as connected with because the whole half the draw of the game is here's all these characters. Well, it's like I'm not even that into most of these characters in the first place.
I feel like it's almost too many characters. Like if it was like one franchise or two or five, you could identify with those. But since there's so many, that like the ones that you like might necessarily be getting like all the screen time that you think they might want to, and it might be some character that you don't necessarily care about at all.
What's the deal with this Atari thing? Because it seemed a little complicated to me. I didn't realize they had a French parent company.
Well, yeah, the Infogrames was a publisher, a game publisher based out of France that was really pretty successful through the 90s, and then started to have less success in the 2000s. And they bought Atari pretty much outright for the name and rebranded themselves.
That was back in 2001.
2001? Okay.
Yeah.
Atari Incorporated has filed Chapter 11 in the United States, I guess hoping to get someone to buy the assets and the IPs out from under this French company because the Atari portion of the business is actually turning a profit now. They've been selling their the name and so forth, and producing some income, but the parent company is just suffocating it, I guess, is what it's coming down to. So they want to get free and try and rebuild the brand.
It's kind of interesting that like this company is kind of it's doing is re-releasing these old games. Like if you look through like a Metacritic timeline of things that Atari has released over the last 10 years, there's like The Witcher 2, Venetica, Chronicles of Riddick, a bunch of Dragon Ball Z stuff, Indigo Prophecy, and a whole swath of stuff that's just not very good.
And then I think what they were going to try and do, if they can get free, is go into exclusively digital and social games.
Yeah.
Which I guess they can ride their IP off that if they were able to somehow swing it. But
well, there was a brief time there where they had a bunch of Atari IP that were being remade as XBLA games with updated graphics that still had their same basic mechanics and gameplay. That version of Warlords I thought was really good, and actually was looking at that on Xbox Live Marketplace, and I don't think you can buy it now. Or you couldn't when I was looking at it the other day. I was thinking, oh, that might be fun to play on Hangover. But the fantasy for me at this point would be, what if Namco came along and picked up all of those properties and started making, championship editions?
Oh my gosh!
Like Centipede Championship Edition, or what else does Atari have?
Well, before they do that, they need to do a Dig Dug. But
Dig Dug Championship Edition.
On board with this idea. How have they not done this yet?
You're right.
They don't even have to do much to the design. Just like update the graphics a bit. I mean,
Pac-Man Cross Pong.
You could actually probably make a legitimate game out of that concept too.
That's good. I like that.
See, the possibilities are endless here. Just do it, Namco.
Yeah, get the money together and figure it out. Buy Atari. Ralph Nader.
What was what caused him to say this thing? Was it the inauguration speech?
Yeah,
that's what it was?
I think so.
And he said something, he was talking about violent video games and either movies or television or maybe both. What was the phrase used? It was like...
electronic child molesters.
That's what he was calling game developers, is electronic child molesters, which is just like a string of random words.
Well, I think he was referring to the media itself.
Oh,
I wouldn't want to put words in his mouth and say that he's calling people who develop video games electronic child molesters. But the content itself, but just based on what he was saying, he seems to think that that's an appropriate way. I really have a problem with people who... I'm all about consumer advocacy, and I think that Ralph Nader over the years has probably done some... Well, I know he's done some things that have helped people and saved lives and so forth, and shone a light on businesses trying to take advantage of opportunities, take advantage of consumers. And so this is not to completely discredit everything Ralph Nader's ever done or anything, but when he is prone to doing this, lots of people are prone to just throwing out hyperbolic speech because that's what gets you attention. And for me, as a rational thinking human being who is sort of a centrist and a moderate, when you use terms like that, it discredits your entire message for me, because I think you're nuts. I just don't see how that's helpful.
Yeah, you're right, because it did get picked up a lot, the headline, but who cares what the media is? If the media is reporting on it, what matters is, will this lead to a practical solution? And I don't think it will, not the way he was phrasing this.
I'm disappointed in Ralph.
Oh, are you?
I like that guy.
Yeah. A little bit of a personal hero.
Yeah. I've read a lot of his books, and he was really formidable. I got an environmental science degree, and he kind of pushed me towards a lot of those issues. So it's a little bit of a bummer that he says something like that about something that is such a big part of my life.
I guess everybody has crap we're not going to agree with, though. I mean,
Yeah,
that is what it is.
it's like very strong word choice.
It is a strong word choice, and it's flippant. It's just so buzzword friendly and gross. Other aspects of the inauguration ranting that he had, were saying he's just failed to keep his promises, and the administration is trying to open up funding to do research, which I think would be great. I think federally organized research on the effects of violent media on children, on developing minds, on whatever you want to call it, would be a healthy thing. The only concern that I have over such an arrangement is that Nixon did the same thing for pornography back in the 70s. The report came back, they didn't like the results, and they tossed the entire thing in the bin.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's been done with many topics and surveys before.
Right. So this, it's just I don't see even how that's going to address the problem. We're going to commission research, and then if whoever happens to be in power when the research comes back doesn't like what the research says, it's not going to be considered credible. It's not, and the argument's just going to go on forever.